Hello, everybody, and welcome to my review of Malibu Ken. It's Malibu Ken album. I don't know, it's self-titled. It's Aesop Rock and Tobacco. They are together as Malibu Ken. The 10-track album has come out, and I am here with the review. My name is HSR. You are here on Behind That Suit. This is the Headspace podcast where we go through the new hip-hop and occasional pop albums. Normally, Chris is here with me. He called in sick 2 weeks in a row. If y'all find that to be unacceptable, you'll find his Twitter down in the description of the video, along with an itinerary of this episode so you can see when it starts if you're not interested in the intro bit. Guys, feel free to go harass Chris on Twitter and tell him that you want him back on the show and that you don't want me by myself. If you do, well, you can let me know in the comments what you think. Either way, the comments is important. We care a lot about it because we go through these albums track by track, share the thoughts and opinions as we go, but often y'all watching this just know like way fucking more about the artist than we do. And it's more of like a growth and journey plan. So I'm here to share my discovery with you. That's why I'm talking about it. It's not meant to be like I know anything really. It's just I keep listening to albums. So any expertise I have is solely based on this like journey of doing album reviews publicly on YouTube. Anyway, we care a lot about the comments. Last week we talked about Method Man's Meth Lab Season 2, The Lithium, and on that review, I don't even know if I'm going to say this right, but Carl Gier said Wu-Tang was established the alter ego in hip-hop, and then Diddy jumped on that. Now, I brought this up because somebody else had commented that it wasn't actually Wu-Tang so much as it was Redman on What the Album, but then I realized I don't know shit about this, so I'm gonna ask you, the internet, what is the earliest moment you know of in hip-hop history where an act used the alter ego playing more than one character on the same album or just in general? So yeah, just like let me know and we can go from there. Anyway, before we jump into the album, I would like to take a moment to thank the patrons Lindell Williams, Ismail Gudamsi, Chris Prado, and Super Old School in 1994. Because of them and some AdSense, we're going to get a new camera soon, so hopefully everything will look a little crisper and nicer. On that note, I see no reason to dilly-dally. Why don't we jump into this review, and we are going to go through the Malibu Ken album, which again is Aesop Rock. I don't even know if I'm going to say that right. Sorry if I fuck it up the whole review. Somebody's going to say, his name is actually pronounced like this, and then in the future I'll be saying it right, so, well, sorry in advance. And Tobacco, who I believe is the producer, who basically made all the beats. Aesop dropped all the rhymes, and here we are with this project. Typically, I find it productive to start the review by going through like my connection to each artist just to kind of let you know where I'm coming from going into this. So as far as Aesop Rock is concerned, I know him from that infographic that floated around the internet a few years ago that talked about rappers and like how many unique words they use to find out which rapper used like the most words, and in like a huge way it was Aesop Rock in like number one. So I don't know if that included everybody, but basically everybody on Genius I think was used, and so he came out as number one. So then I listened to None Shall Pass, which Bonnie did do in fact a lyrical breakdown for it, which hopefully pops up over in the top corner if you want to check that out. She runs through the lyrics, offers interpretations, and honestly, I could see how every song on this project deserves a full lyrical breakdown, but I'm going to kind of run through more of the highlights and the more interesting parts to me in this review just for the sake of time, because if it gets too long, y'all still don't like that. So it's super hard to find a way to please everybody with this, just being real with y'all. So I know Aesop Rock can rap really well. I have heard a few of his songs, but this is going to be like my first real delve into one of his albums. I'd never heard of Tobacco before. But having heard the beats on this, I can say that I'm very keen on maybe hearing more from Tobacco. And yeah, so why don't we just like move into the album cover and the name of it. So Malibu Ken, it's interesting, right? Because Malibu Barbie, this fake plastic existence, you know, the whole Barbie character. And, you know, it just makes you think of the toy. It makes you think of plastic society. It makes you think of maybe all of the fake shit that's just going on. And then honestly, like you look at the cover and it's just like this cringy, looking Ken who's drugged out with like fucked up lips and eyes and shit. I'm like, it's just so prominent. Like, you're gonna get an interesting fucking experience just looking at this. And had you seen the video to Acid King coming into this, it's gonna be fucking weird just from the way the face peeled off and everything. And like, I don't know, it has this vibe that makes you want to go, what the fuck is this project actually going to be about? So I have to say, all things considered, the overall tone and everything about the visuals related to the album, the bright colors, like a really bright blue with the yellow and everything, like it's shiny. It's like it kind of throws back to maybe another day in terms of like the 80s cartoons and shit, bright and shiny and attractive and shit. But then you look at the details and it's just disgusting. And I don't know. I really like that juxtaposition. I think it's fucking cool. All things considered, I didn't have a lot more to say here. So let's talk about the corn maze. All right. So let's start with the beat. I don't know if it's synths or what exactly the high-end sound is, but it's fucking ridiculous. It just kind of snares you in with this mystery. Like, it makes it weird, all right? It kind of comes in because on the drum side, it's kind of got more of maybe a dancey, kind of rappy feel to it. Everything feels right there. The bass is kind of thumping in hard, but those highs are just kind of weird, and it makes everything kind of off-putting in like a really proper way. And I believe that like the first sounds you hear on this album just sets you into this mood, like you get sucked into the world of Malibu Ken and you're ready to go with it. And then when Aesop Rock starts like rapping, you're just absolutely enthralled. I mean, right off the jump, you probably have to be into poetry and language interpretation, or at least like he uses a lot of different words, and it takes like a quick second, I think, to kind of just think about what he means, which is like the point of it. Like, I had to listen to this album multiple times and I barely think I understand what the fuck's going on, but it also came out like yesterday, so bear with me. But just in the beginning, in the World Weekly News Bat Child, that's apparently a magazine, beelining ash pile to ash pile to ash pile for every ghost climbing out the flat file, every gaff, every lone spaz in the snack aisle. And it just kind of makes it sound like, okay, so that's like a tabloid. And then you kind of, I feel like, get this picture of these just vapid people wandering through this grocery store or convenience store, I think you call them. We call them dépanneurs up in Quebec. And like just looking for junk food and bullshit entertainment and shit. Cracked out. Don't touch that dial ever, which is cool because it goes back to the don't touch that dial, I believe, is a Batman reference, which ties back to the Bat Child thing, which is fucking dope. Cracked out, kind of like the little comic book thing, but also simultaneously pointing out that the people in the motherfucking store is cracked out. This is good poetry and shit, man. This is really good writing. I'm really enthralled. Like, I can't express enough how exciting it is to see this. And I know his whole catalog's probably full of this shit. And yes, I am gonna go check out the other stuff, and there will likely be more reviews of his work in the future in the Classic Quest as we go through it over time. Still, it's just also the way he delivers it with like this flat, like he's not trying to impress you by being like the best rapper ever. He's trying to impress you because he's writing in a way that literally like you just don't, I don't know. I don't find you see this so much outside of like I can't say I can think of anything like this. It's just got like these trapdoors forecast quagmire weather. Like quagmire being like fucked up, I believe, so the trapdoors, so I guess the things are shortcuts, or I don't really fully understand what that means, but quagmire weather, so fucked up things are coming. I'm like, but it's worth it, from cobras out to kiss him on the cheek to snatching victories out of the jaws of imminent defeat. And you see, like, I guess you get the idea that all this poison and shit, people conceive it as worth it because it just kind of keeps you going one step further. It keeps your brain like functioning, and it gives you things to be excited for in this mundane reality. But then he just kind of flips into it and points out he has no fucking interest in like what everyone else is doing, and he kind of wants to be there in places like the country, as I believe he left the city and he moved out to the middle of nowhere where there's like no neighbors for miles type shit. shit. And, they headbutt in the mornings and they ignore each other, but, he pulls his hood up, he pulls his hood down and he's got his walls up and he's kind of blocking out the world. And, like, you get the sense that he's analyzed everything that's going on. So sorry if my lyrical interpretations at a line-by-line level was trash here, but in general, the verse kind of shows that he's observing all this mundane bullshit. He sees, like, the sheeple of the world going around. He's kind of decided he doesn't want to participate in the general existence of everyone else, so he's vacated back into, like, the middle of fucking nowhere, where he has very few interactions with people. And at the end of the day, in a very literal sense, it's almost like he's got not literal sense, he's got these figurative walls going up, but he helps enforce that further in this isolation because he has such literal distance between all the people. And I love the idea, because let's be real, when you go ahead and you do some shit like put your hood up, and I bet this looks fucking awkward and clunky, but you just kind of like feel more secure. It's some stupid ass bullshit, but it feels like your walls are up, even if it's not. Bonnie gets mad at me when I leave my hood up, so I'm gonna move on from that. But then you kind of got like this little simple hook, like walls up, I keep my coat on, I got some walls up, chips down, walls up, I cut the lights off. And you just, again, you kind of picture him in the woods. People might be coming, so he closes the lights. He pretends like he's not home, so nobody's coming. And then it's like he wakes up with a bunch of sweat, pukes blood, hit the shower, turned to Malibu Ken. While you were asking all your lackeys, are we jackals or men? I've been to sorcery authorities here, catch if they can. And I fucking love that idea, right? So in a sense here, I kind of flashing into like an area where he has to be that fake person. So in general, because you do have to do it, he does have a job, he probably has like contractual obligation, shit like that. So he wakes up fucking unhappy, nervous, feels disgusting over the fact that he has to become this fake fucker. And then while everyone else is trying to figure out their integrity and everything else, he's kind of casting a spell and an illusion, because he's kind of pulsed into the real as shit. So really people should be like focusing on him and stuff, but instead they're kind of, I guess, caught up in the charade of the he said, she said, like, I don't know about y'all, but when I'm at work and whatnot, if you really listen to the things people are concerned about, it kind of comes off like, are we assholes? Are we good people? Is a big conversation. So that's kind of what I took from that, was it reminded me a lot of those conversations. And instead, I like to try to focus on real shit. And so I kind of really related to this, because as I get older, I get less interested in actually being around people in person, in light of how hard it is for me to fucking connect with anyone. So I really, really enjoy listening to this. He really like flows on in the same vein of things, kind of describing shit. I really like when it's like the $1 million free jazz speak in a secret garden. Some people think it's freakish, but they can't deny the harvest. It's funny when they're later made to celebrate the shit they said was garbage. And just in general, like how they point out how awful things are, and the inconsistency is between what people criticize and what people praise. These are things that genuinely bother me as well. And I really love the way he eloquently puts it. The third verse follows suits as well. It's really fucking incredible. And just he really, like, when he hits lines like, someday we'll find a way to make these billionaires obey us, you just kind of get the sense that he sees everyone kind of pursuing certain unrealistic goals. And maybe he secretly also wants this to happen, but like people just kind of like get riled up by everything. And fundamentally, that is what a lot of people are hoping for, just to have billionaires obey their whims, when it's never really gonna be like that, and someday we'll earn a subdivision gaudier than reprobates who sit around depressed and guess the order of the Tetris reign. And you kind of get the sense that it's like, maybe we'll actually achieve some shit, but when he kind of reinforces with the types of people, are just kind of depressed and speculative and nihilistic and everything's miserable, it almost has like no fucking point to it. Anyway, I like how he ends every single fucking line with, I got some walls up, kind of showing that, like, right from the beginning. He's pushing himself away from society, from everyone else. I found it to be really strong. The video is really interesting. Like, he's sitting on this couch and he's just kind of rapping at you. And then he's watching this TV thing, and it's just fucking trippy as shit. Like, at one point, these little cartoony characters are in space and shit, and then this little unicorn thing ends up in the next scene, and it just has like this little self-aware flash up, like, wasn't I just in space? I don't know. It just, look, it has this trippy fucking crazy experience, and you really are able to extract what he's trying to convey. And I'm certain that the longer that I sit on this album and the more I listen to this album, or even every one of these songs, I'm going to find a deeper understanding of like each line. I wish I could have given you more at this moment, but I think you get a sense of what I'm trying, like what this song is about from what I've described here. His rhyming is very consistent. It kind of is. It's almost like he's preaching at you, like he's just got to get it off his chest, but also maintaining like a very steady rhythm. He's rhyming properly, like it's just like A game fucking hip hop to me. Plus, if we really look at it in the context of like a granular timeline of society, we have him making a fresh sound in 2019. And I want to give him a lot of props for that, because I can't think of anything that sounds like this, and I really fucking like it. So I'm giving this a 5 on 5. Really fucking cool. Let's move on and talk about Tuesday. I'm like, this song really follows it through as if this whole album is kind of one granular experience. Like, we're supposed to go through the adventures of Malibu Ken. And so now we're on Tuesday. This track that literally starts off with, "There's something you should probably know before we go too far. My neighbor found a mushroom growing inside my car." So at first I think of drugs. And then I realized, wait, maybe it's like his car's so fucking disgusting and moldy and awful that like a mushroom is actually growing in it. And then she called him up on tour, sounding emotionally scarred, although it may have scared her more that I wasn't really alarmed. And this is kind of important because what's the fact that he knows that this shit's going on, like let's say his living conditions is awful and disgusting is kind of the premise it is. So there's all sorts of bullshit going on. He doesn't take care of himself. He doesn't wash everything. He's like, if I can't reach it, I can't see it. I don't really care. Blah. You get this like sense of he's living in this weird, filthy fucking existence, right? But as the song progresses, you also get the sense that like he sees things that are kind of different. Like, on the one hand, it's pretty gross, and this is in verse 2. On the other hand, it's sort of like a pretty desert rose. How against all odds, whether wet, dry, night or day, garden, pigsty, or cave, life, science finds way. And if you think about it, the fact that mold and disgusting shit can grow pretty much anywhere, and literally anywhere, it's pretty incredible. The fact that we can't stop life even if we create the most like disgusting conditions. In a sense, it really is a beautiful thing. And I guess this song is about perspective, because while it might be about simultaneously his mental illnesses, I'm assuming he might have something in light of his anxiety of not wanting to be around people. I really don't know his history, so if that's wrong, I'm so sorry, everyone. In light of whatever demons he's fighting and whatnot, you get the sense that it could be about his mind. It could be about his literal disgusting apartment. And like, you know, he moved out to the country to escape everyone. And since there's nobody around anymore, he doesn't actually have to like take care of anything or try. And so it's fucking disgusting. But as he looks around this place that he's very aware of, he sees the beauty in it all. And so when he thinks about, or if you think about his life, and he might look chaotic and fucked up and depressing and awful, but that's really just like one perspective. Because on another perspective, it's a beautiful and interesting thing where because of that chaos, Malibu Ken is born. Like, we get this album, we get these things that, you know, it's just looking at it differently. On top of that, the beat is really good on this song. It kind of flows through in the same kind of way. I like it a little bit less than the last one, but it really feels consistent. It really feels like it's part of the same project, but it also feels different enough to feel like a unique song that doesn't sound like the other ones. I really like the chorus because he's got the part where it's like Tuesday, which I guess is just some arbitrary day. I don't really know if it has any significance, so if it does, feel free to let me know in the comments. But I like where he's like, and if you're waiting for a spell where it falls into an order where you can help, well, yeah, no. And I like that because, like, I'm not necessarily the happiest person in life, and I've noticed that if you're ever in a bad mood, everybody wants to help, everyone wants to fix it, and like, so everyone tries to normalize you to a condition where they can relate to you to try to like fix some shit, or where like it's fixable from within their power, right? Because they want to help. And that's not necessary all the time. So I kind of get where he's coming from, where it's just like he's decided he's like saying, if you are waiting for me to go back to some normal society type shit where everything's gonna be clean and proper and you can like come in and clean it up and help or some shit like that, it's never gonna be like that. I am who I am, and I kind of like he's okay with it. He takes some solace in it, and I really like how the third verse also like flows into the same kind of thing. And I feel like he just kind of has more acceptance with it, and I really enjoy the song. I gave it a 4.5 on 5. I think it blew my mind because it's equally interesting. I mean, instead of just describing like a legacy of, you know, grandeur or money or anything like that, it's When I'm Gone. It's a groundbreaking botanical epic from desolate to Little Shop of Horrors in a second. It's weird knowing life thrives more when you exit. You know, like the idea that he's kind of like fucking useless, even though in the present he can't keep a cactus alive. But if he dies, things will grow from him. And in a weird, morbid sense, he's absolutely correct. And it's like you get the sense of acceptance and solace in this, as much as it's got this twisted imagery. I don't know. A 4.5 on 5, I think, is a very good grade for this. This is amazing. Like, for anyone who again believes hip hop is dead and that there's nothing new and interesting happening, like, fuck, Malibu Ken dropped this project and it's fucking ridiculous. Aesop Rock is killing it. Tobacco's made 2 ridiculous beats so far. Still 8 more tracks on the project though. Let's see what happens with Save Our Ship. Damn, this one steps right the fuck up back into that 5. Whoops, I mean, yeah, I give it a 5. It's so fucking good. So, like, the beat is a lot of what makes it is. I feel like it's got more strings or something to it, but, like, it builds up in a progressive way. Over the bridge, it just blows up and becomes fucking alive in the instrumentation. So, I'm a huge sucker for dynamicism in a beat where, like, as much as I know a lot of the older beats might have a groove and it locks into 1 or 2 grooves and it loops over and it's all about the MC, I also really like it when it's fucking next level, like almost progressive rock in its development over the beat. To me, that's a beautiful thing, and I feel like this song kind of gives some elements of that in the way it develops. So I believe this one has to do with like the information overflow of life, where every belief is possible and people kind of define themselves based off of the information they have and the various belief systems that they cling to. But even though from his perspective, it seems to all come off like a series of sensationalized nonsense. I really like in the second verse when he's like, 1 strawberry jelly, 1 glaze, 1 saucer of milk for the strays, none of his bills pays, all of his ilk romp, half of them uninsured, all of them film cops. And you get the sense that there's all sorts of varieties and different things. Everybody's kind of fucked up and, you know, things aren't necessarily going well for people, and you know, the system's kind of crumbling. Everybody's, you know, filming cops. Call of the Wild Kid. Trade a cow for seeds. I'm in the clouds smelling blood from the cowards beneath. I trade a crown for teeth, blaming an unrequited love. Might release hounds dressed up like doves. And you get the sense that he's detached from all of this. He's watching it all play out. He sees kind of how everything is flowing and everyone's kind of sensationalized and fucked up. And listen, if I'm missing the point of this, feel free to correct it. I really do apologize. I know some of y'all get a little bit upset when I haven't been able to do the research necessary, but this is like a fucking puzzle. But I feel like he's seeing all the different sensationalized issues that are happening, and simultaneous to that there are people watching ready to like prey on the chaos that's about to come to fruition, and he maybe wants to participate at that. I don't know. Hear pigs play metal like kettle drums, turn a quick deli trip to a temple run and belly laugh, rebel tongues cover up a checkered past. Like, you know, police corruption mixed with people with a criminal history, and then how that kind of plays out is what I interpret from that. I love the chorus where it's like the news clips of the shifty, crippled, and misused pigs in the pews, stick, move, face down, folk recycled as fish food. I mean, you really get a sense of where everything is kind of fucked up again from that like systematic perspective, where like cops is corrupt, where the news cycle kind of sensationalizes bullshit, where everyone's kind of fed little pieces of whatever to kind of, I'm like, when I see recycled fish food, like if you think about the newsreels and how they basically play the same shit over and over and over again to feed you whatever you need to be fed in order to believe what needs to be believed so that, win, lose, money over shark and fin soup and stiff booze. So at the same time, distractions was another element of the song. I'm glad I thought of that. But yeah, so like, it's just the different ways people are kind of distracted from the bigger strings that are controlling the system is what I mean, it's kind of a vague sentence, but I believe that there are what is called smoke screen issues, and this ranges from the various entertainment addictions to the news cycle spitting out bullshit and nonsense and all of that stuff. And it's meant to kind of elicit emotion out of everyone. And I think that this song is kind of expressing that in like convoluted shit that I barely understand. Still, I love the sound of it. I love the evolution of his language. I love the way he raps and rhymes. I think that this is really something that I'm hooked on at this point, right? So I gave it another 5 on 5, like I said, when I started off this little segment. And I do appreciate how new it feels, like it's still tripping me out a bit that this is a album that's been out for only a couple of days in light of the fact that so many people believe hip-hop's dead and whatnot. I know I'm going to drill that in, but anytime I come across a new album moving forward that's dope, I think it's worth saying that point. So let's move on, though, to Sword Box.
That's when I really flourish. I wake up in a sword box. I brush my teeth with bullets underneath.
I think it's really cool how he starts this one off and he's comparing what rapping actually is, and I guess taking shots at the illusionary acts and the fakeness of other people. But he compares it to magic, where essentially, where daisy chain hankies vanish into plastic thumbs, it was classic misdirection, soulless magic to the young, via masters of deception, the full force court of volunteer, pull a quarter out his ear in a recession, pull a rabbit from a Stetson as a rapper, though it's basically the exact profession. So if you really think about what magic is, it's you're doing some illusionary, distraction-y, tricky bullshit to try to essentially get money out of people off of almost literally nothing real, nothing being, like, it's all fake. Only under magic, it's kind of an understanding, whereas rap in the current form, so like these modern rappers or people who have these social media images are essentially doing the same thing as illusionists and other magicians. They're pulling rabbits out of hats, only this time the hat's really fucking expensive. It's a Stetson. And in a sense, the way wealth is used to establish talent in this modern era, where essentially your sales or how much bling you have almost seems to matter more than the talent, in a sense is a magic trick, etc. But simultaneously you have him, who's a real MC, who's also capable of doing this because he's still a rapper, and in a sense his performance and his craft and his ability to craft magic with his rhymes is kind of what pays him. And I feel like that's the crux of this track, and I really like it. So whether gorgeous or New Yorkers through the eyes of Diane Arbus, and apparently Diane Arbus is a photographer known for taking pictures of the weirdos and the freaks and things like that. So if you think about like a Lil Uzi Vert or something, it's kind of an interesting shot. But simultaneously, if you think about it's himself as a freak and a weirdo, this Malibu Ken character, it also makes sense. So it's a cool shot at both everybody and simultaneously himself. No outstanding warrants, nothing up his sleeves. I need you feeling weak and needing something to believe. I need you feeling freakish. That's where I really flourish. I wake up in a sword box. I brush my teeth with bullets. So I feel like this is where he kind of has he's kind of describing a tactic where the fans expect everything to be on the edge, and they all kind of react accordingly. They all kind of believe blindly. They all kind of hand over their cash and everything. And I think it's really cool. We really drills it home with the chorus. And for my next trick, I'll make a dollar bill, climb up out your wallet, disappear and reappear inside my pocket. I never really do these things twice, but if y'all ask nice, I just might. So it's kind of like, how everyone, kind of says, I never really do X, Y, Z, but, if you pay me enough, I just might. And in a sense, he's kind of pointing out the same way that, he doesn't really want to do. I don't know if it's really about him actually, so I'm not going to say something there where I don't know what I'm talking about, so I don't get in trouble on that one. But for verse two, I feel like he just kind of continues the point on. I really enjoyed where he's like, pick a card, tricky, turn a Vic into a bobblehead, absconders into Klingons into Romulans. So if I'm understanding, absconders is like rebels or outcast into Klingons, so it's kind of playing into opposites. So turn a Vic into a bobblehead. I really don't know what that means because I'm not sure what a Vic is, but absconders into Klingons is people who have no desire for the system into being part of the system, and simultaneously Klingons, unruly rebels and shit, into Romulans with organized passion. I saw myself into pieces for purveyors of the strange, put the pieces back together, though I'm never quite the same. And I really like that idea, you know, kind of how he's kind of recognized himself in all of this darkness and all of this. I mean, he's probably a rapper. He's probably understood that at some points in his life, part of his criticisms of the industry or criticisms of himself. This is an assumption I'm making based on what he said, but it makes sense to me. And so this self-awareness has kind of changed him, etc. It was really strong. It's a really great song overall. I'm giving this one another fucking 4. I'm giving it a 4.6. I don't actually give a lot of those, but it's better than your average 4.5 to me. It's super interesting. It kind of has this great beat. I like the way it flows into a more intense. And if y'all ask nice, I just might have just repeats that for a while, like almost like there's this like debate going on, this transformation. And yeah, I can't stress enough how good the production is, and I feel like it's just a bit better than my normal 4.5. Anyway, let's talk about dog years. Again, this one is kind of a bit of a strange track, but it appears to be him like thinking back to a time when he was trying to be social or trying to fit in, and almost realizing how fake everything is and how fucked up everything is, and so almost deciding to regress into this person that he's become, where he's more of a social recluse. And I really think it's cool the way that he again expresses himself. Like Ace count cake in dog years, so I guess he kind of inflates his money, or he lives in a way where his money is just that much more valuable. I'm rich when I'm broke. It's amazing. So maybe it's a perspective thing where he doesn't need material wealth. So like in his spirit, it's rich, whereas everyone else is seeking actual money. So it's a big issue. I'm three-eyed fish in the moat. I'm a joke. I'm a Kilroy pissed in the snow. Kilroy was like that little tag that was put around in World War II, if I'm not mistaken. Kilroy was here. I don't remember the exact significance, but I believe it had to do... yeah, and it was just like placed by soldiers around the world. It was kind of like one of the world's first memes, I think, if you really, you know, in terms of its distribution. It had a sense of virality to it long before the internet even invented. But it's almost like he's pissing in the snow. It's like taking a shot at this. He's not exactly what it's supposed to be, but because it's pissed in the snow, it's not even going to last. So it just kind of has a temporariness, but it's also repulsive at the same time. So much interesting ideas in terms of how he chooses to express himself with the self-depreciation with deep understanding mixed in at the same time. It's so fucking cool. Most of the extolled folk in his past grew up into a poser and sociopath. Old portfolios openly dissed. OG morals Tokyo drift. It's low-key miffed. You trying to get your own pants unpissed, yelling "fuck the rich." Now he down low count dough in a bubble, and so I kind of picture him thinking back on all these other people who were supposed to be rebels, who were supposed to be down for a cause or whatever, and then money comes into the equation and people change and people start acting differently, and so he's seen the inconsistency of people who, on the one hand, claim to have these deep principles, but really are just complete hypocrites when no one's looking. And I really like the idea. Like, he's kind of retracted from all that. Bedhead Lazarus, climb out of time warp, no one to impress. What would I comply for? I never ate dinner with pop stars. You wouldn't paint litter on a Bob Ross. And it's like, he kind of escapes to a place where he doesn't have to deal with any kind of the bullshit. So since he's never had to fake it to be like a pop star or play that kind of game, and he looks at that like literally painting litter on a Bob Ross, like actually adding toxicity to your life or ruining the beautiful landscape of art or whatever. I don't know. I also like the less Tupac, more pockmarks, you know, just like these people aren't really gangster like they want to be. They're more like full of moles and disgusting features and shit. It's just so interesting. Second verse kind of follows suit in the same kind of way, same overall tone as was delivered in the first. It's almost like he is just very comfortable not dealing with people and being a solo person running on through just simply because of how fucked up everyone is. But I like when he goes, I cold came in the door, sure as Ray is chef, open robots owning emotions, new to cruelty, humor, and love, each day a little less stupid as fuck. And it's like you kind of see how he understands how cold he is, and I really like the comparison to Raekwon there. But he's like a robot that is starting to understand emotions, and he's starting to understand all the bigger schemes of how people feel, and every day he's a little bit wiser about it in light of all of this through his isolation and everything. I don't know, I thought it was fucking cool. I gave this one a 4.5. It's pretty fucking great. Like, so far I think we're about halfway through this project, and all things considered, this is one of the most interesting and enjoyable things I've listened to in the last long while. And I feel like I've said that a few times lately, but this one's the best of the ones I've said lately. Let's move on to a truly interesting song called Acid King. So this one is about Ricky Casso, who apparently is from the same area as Aesop Rock. Like, they're from the same place. They both like acid. And Acid King is one of the nicknames of this person, Ricky Casso, who's a real life person. So back in the 80s, he was known around town as like a hooligan and did a whole bunch of drugs. And this is kind of like expressed throughout it, because this song kind of walks us through the story of this dude. So 2 horns hatched and matured, gone to Northport's 84, here is 84, Mary Lou Retton, Excite Bike, Age Jeopardy. So, you know, we're getting an idea of the era, what's going on in the world. Wake Up the Orwell in Me, Crack Rock Anyway, 17 Summers in Developing, so the kid's 17. Would it be the middle schooler ketamine? Guess. And anyway, he does a bunch of drugs and shit. And then as the story goes in real life, some kid robbed 10 bags of ketamine or some shit off of him, and then snorted half of it. I don't actually know what you do with ketamine. And then he went and got it back, beat the kid up a bunch of times, was supposed to get money out of it. Then at some point, 4 of them, including this kid, go up and do drugs in the mountains. And while they're high on some shit that they thought was like an amphetamine, I believe, of some kind, which turned out to be acid, or they believe was acid, he gets like fucked up, starts hallucinating apparently, and starts stabbing the kid who jacked the drugs off of him, and telling him to say out loud, I love Satan. And at first the kid's apparently like, I love my mom, but then caves and does it, and he stabs him like 37 times, and his eyes get fucked off, and it's really like gruesome. And then the dude brags about it after the fact, and then he gets kind of caught. And so this literally is just a long verse that walks you through the whole fucking story. Like, everything that happens in real life gets called out here. Yeah, I don't know. So it kind of like contextualizes like the era and how you have like the war on devil music going on, like Sabbath and Judas and all the tunes Prudence seems tame now, but then it was the devil music. So just to give an idea what's going on, so people are kind of miffed up over culty type shit. And so at a certain point, he actually digs up a grave out of curiosity, which is referenced in the song, so the cops put him away or lock him up, and he ends up getting out. And then LSD makes it more than it meant to be. Pay attention, here's where the whole thing's sour, and goes from intriguing to wowzers. At a party, a passed out drunk Casso gets got for 10 bags of dust. You know, and then it tells that part of the story. It moves on to like, Casso waves all dead, says let's go get baked instead. 2 shake hands, the beef lays dead, though it's more like a skeeter shaking a web. Along came Inspire with 2 of his friends. It was into the woods, a delusional mess, so he's tricking the guys, pretending to be homies, just like a spider catching somebody into a web. And then, June 16th, Casso snaps. Apparently it was the 19th, and the 16th is a misreported date. I might be wrong. That's what the fucking internet told me. Casso snaps, off guard Gary tackled him, sees Rick, a knife from the jacket and grin, anyway, he runs on through it. And then he ends the song with a really fucking interesting point. Sat in a cell as a merchant of hate who would hang from his sheet before the 3rd day. So I'm assuming that means that he hung himself and he died right away. He killed himself in prison, so we don't really know what happened. But some say Casso was part of a cult, but I'm sure there was more than we're told, more than adults or authority could rightly decode, or maybe I'm wrong and he's finally home. Casso. So it's just the idea that maybe there's just more to the story than we know. It was more complicated. It was more complex, and that regular people couldn't understand simply because of how horrific it was. Simultaneously, he also acknowledges that he could be wrong, and maybe it really was just what it was, and he deserves to be where he is, you know? And then I love how, like, the outro part happens. Regis repeats, it's starting to feel like a nice night. Hold close to the highs in a white light. Hold close to the ground you are drawn to. These woods were going to disarm you. And I think it's trying to allude to the fact that out in the woods, into the middle of the nowhere, especially with drugs, it's like your humanity might change and all of a sudden your morals. And it's like you can lose yourself to a moment and actually get to a point where you are committing some kind of murder. And I just thought it was really fucking intense. I think this is the best song on the album. The video just has the Malibu Ken guy's face, and it slowly starts peeling and getting more and more grotesque as the video progresses. But this is an incredible experience. This is a truly standout song, and if you don't want to listen to anything else, you absolutely have to hear this fucking song on the project. It's truly dope, and you go learn about the story, or just listen to the song and you'll learn about the story, because when I checked it against what actually happened, it's the exact story with every detail told in sequential order. Super fucking dope. Anyway, let's move on to Suicide Big Gulp.
Nobody say John Black played real guns, cash, cigarettes.
This is another great beat. Like, every beat's been great, but I like how as it's flowing through, it just has these like doo 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 kind of sounds that like flow through it, really adding just a nice little splice of randomness to it that it just gives it just enough to make the beat like absolutely next level with it. I really enjoy how right from the beginning he's like, A is a different type of animal. I'm assuming that's him, Aesop. No brick road, no zip code. Xanadu, I don't really know what Xanadu is, but family, his and what, army, party in the panic room before they meet. He feed his hands to the scramble suit, glim channels, and wake up fantasy dismantled. We're championing Vandals over Andy with the Campbells. And I really don't know what Andy with the Campbells means, but I'm assuming it has to do with Campbell soup. And you just kind of get the sense that he's off, or I got the sense of it. I feel I may have missed the point of this one, but it almost seems like how he's locking himself into this like weird isolation, you know, stocking up on things so he doesn't have to go deal with people. How he's kind of like broken out of the fantasy that is normal life, has moved into this world that he's wanting to be into, you know? Like the postcards only, no Crayola, no rose art. I'll communication aside, I'll kick a train off a bridge, I'll smack a plane out the sky, I'll throw a car in the ocean, no one waving goodbye, play spats, 8 heads, and radio flying. And so here, in light of that, I believe he's escalating to the idea of when he says like suicide, I don't think he means in the sense of like actually dying. I think it's in the sense of the personality of who he is dying, as he kind of escapes life and escapes and his personality fades and he becomes this new idea, this Malibu Ken, or maybe I'm wrong, but I really just enjoyed the overall rhyming on this one. I enjoyed the overall flow on this one. I really like the end of a second verse when he's like, death raft floating out to sea under a single flaming arrow down to overcooked meat. So that's kind of like the idea of like when certain cultures had somebody died, they would like float off and then the dude would shoot the flaming arrow to like give it an honorable death. And if a silhouetted man is seen emerging from the flames, you probably should treat him different. Even if he looks the same, he isn't. So, and again, I think that's his sense of his old life burning off, and he's kind of got that ceremonial standoff, and while he may look the same, deep down inside of him he's a completely different person, maybe more scarred, maybe dealing with different kinds of issues. Again, I don't know a lot about his life, so for those of you who believe that I'm required to research everything beforehand, sorry about that, but I do know enough here to see that he's changed within himself and he's kind of bounced out of it, like again, the old existence. I like when he's like, mistletoe, a misanthrope, stick and poke sea dogs. You can't imagine all the misery we leapfrog. And it's just the way he uses language and the way he uses words is just absolutely fucking next level. I give this another 4.5 on 5. I think it's a really cool song. It really fits the same criteria of most of the things I've said already, and I really think it fits the project well. So why don't we move on to 1 + 1 = 13.
My bed got 2 wrong sides and a yawning.
So I think that the idea of 1 + 1 = 11 is a way of just admitting you look at things differently. That's how I've always, like, I looked at it quickly. That's what I saw. And so he's kind of flipped that to 13 because it's an unlucky thing. So I think it's just, even the title is a commentary on how people look for luck and look for symbols and just shit in their lives. So, scum of the earthly, I plug into that 1 + 1 = 13. Summer of love, sleep under a murderer crows. They sort of circling as long, poking at serpents and skulls. So, there are people who believe that if you see a murder of crows and you sleep under them, bad things are going to happen. And then the song kind of just flows in with all sorts of references to luck, fortune, symbols, ideas, no causality, back to bad juju. It's active irrationality, brash and a tad cuckoo. At last, a little superstition, stupefy the horde, treating reasonable morms like warriors to unhorse. So it's like, you have people who are really motivated by this irrationality. They're really motivated by their superstition to the point where they're like almost combative over all this situation. And I feel like he feels the way people cling to these arbitrary symbols, faiths, and beliefs, and just different things is really kind of ridiculous. It's like pretty much every line is going to follow into that same tone of things, but I really like when he goes, "Hey, when you wish upon a barn star, deliver us from yuck nuck and hardy hard, deliver shady lady luck from the dark arts. She turned a basic shooter into a card shark quick." And you just get like this sense that he wants us to get away from all the bullshit people are talking about, and how this type of luck and this faith in things kind of get people to believe in some kind of bullshit. Like, so somebody who's proper and normal all of a sudden wants to become a card shark over a little bit of luck they believe is actually happening in their life. In general, I think it's really interesting to listen to. The fact that he's able to take this complex language approach that he does with his rhyming while maintaining a very similar flow. Like, I feel like he's one of those guys that doesn't really have to change up his flow much because he has such a diverse word set, and his subject matter and his content evolves so interestingly throughout the project that you don't have to, like, he doesn't have to go and flex too hard with crazy styles and shit. Not to say that his rhyming is exactly the same, because his rhyming is really something that changes every song, but his flow I find is very similar, which is really cool considering he manages to keep it so versatile and alive. I give this song a 4.75. It really got me thinking. I think that hook is absolutely insane. If anybody out there, show me a sign. Leaders of the free world blowing on dice. We load our bowls and close our eyes. So it's almost like people out there are just guessing, gambling and shit, and we don't really question it. They want to feed us bullshit, so we close our eyes and just load it up, eat it up. We do our shit. Everybody's hoping and praying for some shit to change, and I don't know, I like it. I like how aloof his explanation is, and I really like, again, this just makes me want to check out his back catalog. The next song has a very clear and interesting story to it, and let's just talk about Delicious Churros.
Like a giant fucking eagle.
All right, so this one is more of a story-driven thing where apparently the bald eagle population in Pittsburgh had kind of gone away to like nothing, right? Like, it's basically disappeared for a couple hundred years. Nobody's seen anything. All of a sudden, 2016, they see a couple of birds. So somebody like sets up a webcam, and so in pure like directly telling you what happened style. And wildlife scientists, we've actualized impressive data, so much so that in 2016, we discovered two such creatures nesting in the heart of downtown Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 200 years of absence broken by a brazen pair. It's not to shake a stick at when you actually A-B the numbers, so it was a PA commission would install a webcam with a live feed which would showcase the avian lovers. So here it is. It's basically contextualizing that they set up a webcam to watch these fucking birds, and that, while you're sitting there at work, you could kind of take a quick break and put on the birds, and this is actually what the rest of the verse flows into. And while to escape your dismal and awful life, you can watch these birds and just kind of like fantasize about what life could be more than you, like a giant fucking eagle, Mona Lisa cheesing on the easel and that hook. He's just kind of letting you things to think about that are fucking interesting. Then it flows into the second verse, where all of a sudden the story shifts. So what actually happens is basically one day the eagle gets a cat and feeds the cat to like its babies or whatever. And this was on April 26th. And it kind of like pointed out how everyone was upset about this shit. And I think that's what the second verse is about, how people are so fucking weird about it. So, like, we overlook the fact that, wow, sometimes a cat will eat a bird, or sometimes a bird will eat a cat like it's a fucking churro. On April 26th, in front of a group of viewers tuning in to catch a glimpse of what would usually live in the shadows, there was no way to have predicted honing in on the internet's favorite creature as reduced to nutritional value. So, the fact is, nobody could have known when it was coming, and people seem to forget conveniently that in nature, sometimes it's the bird that kills and eats the cat, and not the other way around. But even though everyone's totally fucking okay with cats eating birds, that's cute or whatever, that's fucking fine. But I like how he kind of flips it. I wonder if some dude was sad because his cat had run away and thought maybe I'll load these eagles up to feel connected. Then he got to watch his little fluffy torn pieces by the very nature he had sought to ease him through his deep depression. So there you have him, like, literally going, some guy loses a cat, is fucking sad, wants to watch some birds feel a little bit better, and then he literally watches them eat his fucking bird. And what's interesting about this song is it just kind of shows us some kind of blatant hypocrisy in the way people treat nature. Like, if you're really into nature and you're really into animal loves, maybe you don't want to watch a cat get eaten, but it's kind of fucking weird that you would feel a certain way about eagles eating a cat when it's just the natural nature of shit. Like, it's kind of like, what is the difference between a cat and another animal? You know, like, there's such inconsistencies towards the way people treat the cute and fluffies versus other things. I digress. I think Aesop Rock really gives a shit about that kind of animals, and he really cared about this story enough to point out how ridiculous it was, and I'm happy I learned it. So I gave that song a fucking 5 on 5. It's got a great point, great flow, great storytelling, super awesome beat and shit, and honestly, it's just so interesting. Okay, you don't have to believe me, you don't have to agree with me, that's totally fine. This is my opinion. The last song on this project is Purple Moss.
Wildfire in the wilderness.
So it's worth noting that an empire builder is a train, and that it goes cross country, and that it's likely that it kind of reflects kind of his life transitioning from point A to point B. So I like how he starts it off. I talk like it hurts to talk, mascot of Murphy's Law, from the claw game at the Walt Whitman Mall, I don't know what that is, to the worst curb cuts to the urban sprawl to what stirs in the purple moss. And so purple moss is a cure for poison and shit. And if you look at it, it's like this verse starts off a little bit different. Like, he's recognizing that the way he sounds and how he projects himself, etc., and maybe there's some kind of a cure, some kind of a situation. So as he's on his train, going to his social isolation, escaping everything, he's considering, like, the cure. And I feel like that's what makes the song a little bit different. It presents that social anxiousness. It kind of presents the same thing we've already seen, and even like an internal battle, like he's fucking failing in a sense. Like, curse had a person who ain't do a thing, and everyone around you was surfing a wave, or a singular jerk in a circle of saints. Never mistook a bird for a plane, so he's seeing everything as bullshit, but he mistook a hearse in the rain, German a wound, bit a few heads off a hydra, deadbeat friends in the lens of a Leica. So I feel like as he started to battle the demons and, you know, figure out all the problems in his life, he realized how deep this shit really goes, which is why he feels the need to get the fuck out. And if you only take off a few heads on the hydra, what you know is that the hydra has those heads grow back. So say you cut out a few friends and then you replace them with new friends, and they turn out to always be toxic, and maybe there's something going on here that you need to get the fuck away from. So before you ever take to a colony, take note of your escape velocity and watch the odd folk not care who you are, from an empire builder to anywhere far. And then, you know, it's almost like if you do escape or you do end up integrating with people, make sure you know how the fuck you're going to get out. And when you do escape and you do run away, watch how little fucking people care. But I still think it kind of ends into like a nicer kind of tone at the end. Like, no sleep till the bars are barred to town, bar case from through a claw marked Arkham, bars on the windows, barbs on the jargon, black unbarred offsides on the guard, dark guard marksman march to the heartland, dream in the chair in the yard, from an empire builder to anywhere yard. In fact, I really think that's actually kind of not, it was the opposite. It kind of feels like this, wow, that just kind of sounds like he's getting locked up in an insane asylum and almost getting to a fucking death sentence chair. Now that I've said it out loud here, and sorry about that. Sometimes you just get it fucking wrong. Still, there's some almost like acceptance in it, and I feel like that's what the difference is in the song. And I don't know, it just has like this weird tone that I find enjoyable. It's a cool way to end the album. And as far as the beat goes, the voice, the like more melodic part, and the drums and rhythms are all syncopated to different rhythms. So it really just feels like a weird clusterfuck. Like everything is off, but it fits perfectly. And I really appreciate the brilliance in his song. And I give it a 5 on 5. I think it's truly dope. So that's the end of my review here. I'm sorry if parts of it were a little bit clunky. Some days are easier than others. But for this album, I gave it a 4.785. It is one of the highest marks I've ever given on the channel. The truth is, this project is fucking brilliant. Every song is alive. It sounds distinct. The language is ridiculous. It might not be the easiest thing to understand, but it gives you so much to go back for because it's not so easy to understand. So if you're not down for albums that make you work, you're probably not going to agree with me. But in the way that like a Kendrick album gives you like a cinematic feel for the effects and the way that the songs link together, I feel like Aesop can give you that level of replayability for his words and the way he puts sentences and phrases and connects ideas together. Simultaneously, the way Tobacco adds this flair with the beat, it's just incredible, the combination of these two. And if you're watching this in like 3 fucking weeks after it's come out, understand that I've had about a day and a half to like wrap my head around what every song means, and you've had a lot more time than me, and I'm super sorry if I got anything wrong. On that note, I would love to hear all of your corrections in the comments. I would love to hear all of your interpretations, because the only way I'm going to be able to handle all of the other Aesop projects is to hear you guys give me some fucking intel on what to be looking up and what to be Googling and what context is important. So please, in the comments, let me know. On top of that, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Good MC, Super Old School 1994, Linda Williams, and Chris Prado. They support what we do in a more direct way with some cash, and because of them, we're actually getting a new camera, which will make everything look a little nicer. So if you want to help us grow and turn it into something better, you can do that there, where you can join the request pool, where you get to pick what album we review. Once a month, we pick one from the Patreon, so it kind of cycles between them. And as more people grow, we'll do 2 a month from Patreon. And when you sign up the following month, on top of the Patreon episode that we would normally do, we do a bonus one that's your request, so that you get to get one out right away. It could be any album that you want. We're also looking at different ways to evolve and find new ways to connect with you. We've got a few things we're going to work on for the next couple months behind the scenes, and then we'll have some cool shit happening. Anyway, thank you for being here. If you don't want to do that shit, you can hit the subscribe button for more content. Hit that like button if you dug it. Please leave a comment, talk to me. I will answer you. We're small enough that I can still do that. And I just dropped a music project back in November, so you can check that out on Spotify and shit. The link's in the description of this video, and let me know what you think about that. On that note, talk to you later. Have a wonderful week, and I'll be back with some more reviews soon. Peace.